Now here's Steve and Michelle.
You're listening to Mallett and Michelle, coming to you live from Dripping Springs. Not really, we record a week before. Steve's on vacation mode.
Counting down the minutes.
That's right, and wearing flip-flops, and Michelle will hold down the fort. Chaos is inevitable.
It's true. When I go on vacation, it seems like everything breaks loose. Everything goes under contract. The buyers come out of the woodwork. The Fed will probably drop interest rates. And mortgage rates will be 4.5 by the time I come back. It's all going to be a great day.
The big, beautiful bill will be passed.
The big, beautiful bill will be passed. Yeah, and all the chaos with that. Hey, our guest today, I'm very excited. This is going to be a really good show. Marilyn Bell, who is the general manager of Jovi Belterra.
Jovi Belterra.
Who is one of our sponsors, is going to come in and join us.
And we have a special guest joining us. He is a resident of Jovi Belterra, and his name is Larry Mallett.
And he is a relationship. He is related to me. He's my dad.
As far as we know. That's one of my questions.
Why am I nervous about that?
Is Steve really your son?
Yeah.
That's my question.
My 83-year-old dad will be joining us, and yes, I'm a little bit worried about that. I hope that I serve the Mallett family well when he shows up.
Well, we also need to thank our sponsors.
Yes.
100%. Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room.
Where the vibe is low-key, but the vodka tastes like a Texas sunset doing the two-step on your tongue. That's a tongue twister.
That is a tongue. You know what? I had the pineapple vodka this weekend.
That sounds dangerous.
It was delicious.
Was it?
It really was. I was thinking about making a drunk upside-down pineapple cake. I thought that would be really good with
drunk pineapple.
Yeah. Jovi Belterra.
Where being 55 is a badge of honor, not a reason to trade your dancing shoes for slippers.
Ooh, that was a good one. South Star Bank.
Where the bankers know you by name, smile when you walk in, and don't flinch when you ask for a loan and a kolache.
I don't know if Gibbs smiles when we walk in, though.
I think he laughs at us. That's different.
He's like, crap, there they are. Mallett Integrity Team Real Estate.
Where real estate done right isn't just a slogan. It's a contact sport with contracts, not concussions.
Sometimes I feel like I've had a concussion.
Actually, God, it's been funny this year, huh? I think it's the sellers all feel so beat up. They're just unhappy when the deal's done. They're happy the deal got done, but I think they're just sort of like, oh my God, give me a break. The buyers are holding all the cards.
I saw something on one of the Facebook pages, like on the it was a real estate Facebook page, like the Austin area, that page.
Yeah.
And someone said, how do you handle, we have buyers that are very excited about this purchase, and they keep making appointments to come see the house. They want to show their grandparents, they want to measure, they wanted this, they wanted that. And the comments in there are like, look, be grateful you have a buyer and just let them in.
Yep.
And then the funniest part was the agent, the buyer's agent responded. She goes, full disclosure, I'm the buyer's agent. I'm sorry, my buyers are really excited, but I'm trying to be accommodating.
Yeah, well, and that's what happens. The agents are all trying to make sure everybody's happy, but sometimes people are a little unrealistic. We had one of those recently, and we were all glad we got it done, and both buyer and seller, but man, it got a little ugly there through part of the
this was the one that you had last week.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a little PTSD out for that one.
God, I know. But we got it done. We got it closed.
And go on vacation.
I should have taken one of those pictures with the key that I hate so much.
Yeah, just like
gets posted on social media. Yeah, I hate when I see those pictures of agents. It's like, you're just doing your job. It's not that much of a reason to
celebrate. We have a key, Mallett.
I don't use it anymore. I did fall for that for a while. I did do the stupid key picture at the title company. Look at me, I'm doing my job. It's like I don't ever see a plumber or an electrician going, look, I rewired this fan. Isn't that great?
Yes, they do.
They do not. They might say, here's how you rewire a fan, but they don't go, look, I rewired a fan and I charged this client $257. Aren't I great?
Look, the grinder pump went out again. I fixed it.
Yeah. Hey, I want to follow up with a story we did a couple of episodes ago about this city that was being proposed, or this development being proposed in the Dallas area.
By my daughter.
Yeah, called Epic City. And we did a story on that who was it that called? Was it John Cornyn? Yeah, John Cornyn called for a probe into this community.
Probe.
A couple months ago, because he thought they were going to discriminate and it was only going to be open to people of Muslim faith. Well, the DOJ did launch an investigation and they just closed it. They didn't find any evidence that there was going to be discrimination.
Well, apparently they had a bunch of permit violations too. They were doing a bunch of stuff without permits. I've also read about that. So
well,
I think
the project's going forward at this point. In fact, the DOJ
bad idea. Bad idea.
Well, the community partners is committed to be. This was something that the developer said. Community Capital Partners is committed to building an inclusive community that follows the guidelines of the Fair Housing Act, and we are glad the DOJ found that to be true in their investigation. So,
well, didn't Governor Abbott just pass that foreign entities cannot purchase land?
It's not a foreign entity. Yeah, I think that is true, but this is a different thing.
If you could see my face right now.
I think the people on YouTube can't see your face, Michelle. So
yes.
Anyway, the DOJ didn't find anything that they were concerned about there. So,
well, interesting. No, it's very interesting. Well, I have some good news coming out of Texas.
More good news.
Good news. Have you heard of Senate Bill 25 that Governor Abbott has passed? Make Texas healthy again. What this does, it puts a mandate label of food additives not recommended for human consumption, and it beefs up nutrition and exercise requirements in public schools. I bet you didn't hear about that part. The warning labels are going to be on over 40 different ultra-processed food chemicals, and the label's going to say not for human consumption. So when I eat my Lunchable nacho, it's going to say not for human consumption. Which I think is I think is a great idea.
But how are they determining it's not for human consumption?
Well,
because it has some chemicals
in it? It's the chemicals. It's the 40 different chemicals. But the one that I think you would think is, I guess, very interesting was the recess mandate.
Yeah.
It protects physical recess time K through 6, and they have to have 30 minutes of recess time. And they also cannot use it as a punishment to take recess time away for academic, or you're just being a little jerk face.
I mean, that's such a integral part of a child's development, the learning that goes on outside on a playground or bumping into friends and, the conflicts that come out of that. I mean, and the physical activity.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, run it out. Run it out at school.
Yeah, and it's true. And I think the kids come back to the classroom more prepared to learn because they've gotten rid of all that nervous energy.
I agree. Well, they're also requiring that nutrition be taught also. And it's hoping that Texas will lead the way in changing America for the better and not get clogged up in federal bureaucracy, is what they were saying. It's why Texas did it versus the federal government. But even medical schools, when we're talking about nutrition, primary, secondary, and medical schools, it creates the development of the Texas Nutrition Advisory Council, but it requires them to teach this nutrition class. I think it's a great idea. I think, let me tell you, have you heard of the place called Cider Cade?
Yeah, it's down there off of Riverside.
It's where
we just ran by it on Saturday.
What was
it
that
used
place
to be
called?
Crab Shack.
Crab Shack, and before that was Landry's, I think, many years ago. I saw more fat kids at this thing. I was actually quite disgusted of how many little chub kids.
Kids are so sedentary now.
I was like, what the heck? Now look, am I fat shaming fat kids? Yes, I am fat shaming fat kids. I don't think it's right.
I think it's been terrible that there was a movement, which I think is starting to wane a little bit, that we were telling people that you can be severely overweight and healthy. That's just
it's not true.
It's absolute crap.
It's not true. And
I don't think you need to shame somebody. Everybody deserves respect and love, but you can't look at somebody that's carrying an extra 150 pounds of fat and say, you are beautiful and healthy. That's just BS.
Not when you're 10 years old.
No.
When you are 10 years old and when you are a 10-year-old boy and you weigh as much, I'm almost 55 years old, and you weigh as much as I do, there's something wrong. And there's absolutely something wrong.
Well, going back to what you're talking about, the food, I applaud these measures that are coming out to teach people about nutrition, but what are they going to teach them? Are they going to teach them the food pyramid, which is proven to be not accurate? And, and what about, I know there's a lot of research now on seed oils, they're saying, which is in almost everything. If you go to the grocery store and try and buy something that doesn't have sunflower oil or canola oil or rapeseed oil, it's really hard to find stuff that doesn't have that in it. It's in almost every food. Foods you would never even think about.
Well,
And
maybe we'll get more clarification from the Texas Nutrition
I would love to see
Advisory
seed oils
Council.
go away. I think
Maybe
that's
you can
one-
apply there, Steve.
Yeah, I should.
If this whole real estate gig doesn't work out.
I know in Europe, a lot of the foods that cause a lot of inflammation here in the United States do not cause the same inflammation if you eat them in Europe, and I think it's a lot to do with the additives that are allowed in our country that need to be stricken out of food. But, all that fresh bread on the bread aisle, it all has seed oils in it. So you're going to have some different, bread that doesn't last a month sitting on the counter.
I agree, and I applaud Texas for charging the way with this. One of the authors of the bill was quoted as saying why they weren't waiting for the federal government to do it, and said, "None of us ran for office to take direction from a congressman in Chicago, Seattle, or San Francisco. Texas is no longer waiting."
Oh, I like that.
So I thought it was a great...
It's going to be interesting. I love that we have this movement going on, and I'm hoping that people continue to do their own research, not on TikTok.
And get your kids out running around.
Yeah, go out and do something. Don't let them sit in front of the TV all day or in front of a video game. Hey, the big news in the last week or so, and I thought it was pretty funny, how everybody was talking about the Bezos marriage.
Oh, yeah.
And I read some stuff that was kind of silly about all that. You and I were talking yesterday about their Canva-made wedding invitations that look like some 12-year-old threw them together with some stickers and 12 different fonts.
Well, there's been I guess lashback on her dress. There was a gray carpet that was covering some gravel. The invitation, of course. The jets, all the private jets, when the same people are wagging their finger at climate change.
You need to stop using straws and plastic bags while I fly my Gulfstream across the ocean to go to a wedding.
Did you know they had a foam party?
Foam?
They had so it was a welcome foam party, which someone said
1990
called. It's like, foam, like bubbles, right? And then at the very end, it was a pajama party where everybody had to dress up like in their pajamas. So there was a picture of Bill Gates in his pajamas, and you had Oprah, the Kardashians, which I'm sorry, any party with the Kardashians is just trash. Leonardo.
It makes me wonder, these people are not their friends, so it almost seems like they went, okay, let's get the most highest profile people we can think of to come to our wedding. It's like that's not like your next door neighbor that you hang out with on Friday night at a barbecue that you've developed a friendship with.
That was $56 million of Lady Gaga and Elton John singing. But did you know that
I
Lauren...
actually feel sorry for them.
You know that Lauren Sanchez is someone in her own right, the person that he married. She is, of course, we all know she's an astronaut. But she's also a pilot. She's an Emmy Award winning journalist. She's the founder of Black Ops Aviation, which was the first female-owned aerial film production company. So she kind of had her own money in that sense. But, back in her ring from Jeff Bezos was $5 million. It's a pink diamond.
Oh, God.
So just opulence everywhere. But more than anything, I was reading about this party was not so much about, or I was deeper diving, not so much about the party themselves, about the Venice people. And the Venice people were pissed. There were protests going on, and people were saying... Well,
everybody's protesting.
Well, yeah, right. Let's protest about protesting. They are more concerned about the pickpocketing, the boats that damage the historic foundations around Venice, the influx of tourism. But apparently... Bezos did a bunch of, they didn't want gifts, and they donated to a bunch of foundations in Venice, like even prior to the wedding. But one of the funniest things I saw, part of the protest, where they were inflating inflatable alligators and putting them in the canal to stop some of the water taxis from taking the people.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty
Well,
funny.
piggybacking on me just saying that I feel bad for Jeff Bezos, who's worth $200 billion. I think I can't believe I said that. It's kind of ridiculous. But made me think when we were talking about that, prenups.
Oh.
So, Jeff Bezos' first wife, Mackenzie Scott, they got divorced in 2019.
And she's a big philanthropist. She's kind of
She-
gone into the...
She got $35 billion worth of ownership in Amazon,
Wow.
and she's given a lot of it away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we don't know if Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos have a prenup in this marriage.
Nor do I care.
Well, but the attorneys that I read some stories about this, and every attorney said that he would be nuts not to have a prenup with, and they have they have property and they have multiple businesses, and so. And for those people that don't know, a prenuptial agreement is a legal instrument to protect assets in the event of a divorce. But prenups can have all kinds of terms in them that you have never thought of before, like who gets the private jet,
Oh, yeah.
who takes care of the horses, who gets the horses, who gets the houses, and then a lot of them they define what both people can say in the event of a divorce on social media. Like, you can't go out and say, my now soon-to-be ex-husband Jeff Bezos is a philandering, blah, 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 blah.
It's an uncoupling.
Yes, right. So, and they have all, the prenups, you can't write a prenup, say, for in Texas. It may not be enforceable in other places. So you have a house in London, maybe the prenup that you have in Texas doesn't cover the house in London. So for these uber wealthy people, they have to have like huge bunches of attorneys to draw these up to make sure that every piece of property, every company is covered by that.
This is a problem,
prenuptial.
aside the fact that we are both happily married, this is a problem you and I will never have to experience.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not something we're going to have
I
a
thought
problem
this
with.
one was really funny. Some prenups specify that a spouse maintain a certain weight, say within 20 pounds of their
I
wedding
have
date.
heard of that on some
God,
prenup.
man, I think that would really
You've married a
bother me.
narcissist.
Yeah, I know. Some prenups sunset after a certain number of years, so you're like, okay, if we made it to 10 years, we're good, and then the prenup goes away. So that's kind of cool. But the one thing that jumps out at me is wealthy people are just as insecure as the rest of us, and
I think
maybe
they're
even
more so, yeah.
Yeah, but you think about it. If you're worth $200 billion and somebody says, "Oh, I'm madly in love with you. You're the best lover I've ever had. Oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with you," you would have to have in the back of your mind, is it really me or is it that $200 billion?
Let me tell you, Todd and I didn't have two nickels to rub together. We were living off of student loans and a dream.
Yeah. Would you sign a prenup? I wouldn't.
I've never thought about it in that sense. I'm never getting married ever again, ever. This is my one and done.
Yeah, I'm done too. Yeah.
Obviously, because I'm still married, but I'm never getting married ever again.
I found the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. But it is, rich people problems to consider. I hadn't really thought about it, but it would be really interesting if we get our hands on that prenup with Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez to read it. But I know we never
One
will.
of the things that the lashback on the amount of money that they spent on this wedding, somebody wrote on social media, it said, look, I ordered a bed at 9 p.m. At 8 a.m., that bed showed up delivered at my apartment.
Yep.
You go, King,
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
You keep doing you. And let me tell you, I've been ordering a lot of stuff on Amazon lately because you never know until you have a baby come back and visit your house.
Oh, yeah. How much stuff you don't have.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I have probably participated in some of this wealth
You
for
probably
the Bezos.
have,
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, what a great business he's built. I think one of his best assets is he knows how to hire people that can basically change the world.
Did you
which he
think it
has.
was stupid when Amazon first came out? I kind of did. I kind of thought it was like,
Yeah,
who's going
kinda-
to order stuff outside?
I kind of did, but man, if you look at them selling whatever, they had 40 titles of books in
yeah.
a garage that they were stocking on shelves versus God, what they've turned it into now. I just read a story this morning in the Amazon warehouses. It's just about at the tipping point now. They are going to have more robots handling packages in warehouses than human beings. They've reached that point. The technology they have is insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm sure there was nobody at this wedding wearing secondhand clothes, but
Yeah.
there's some legislators in Congress that are looking to change how we shop for clothing by encouraging people to start buying secondhand clothes. Do you ever buy secondhand clothes?
No.
Have you ever?
I have for like Halloween or something like that, but I'm not into wearing other people's.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know where it's been, what the life cycle it has been. Like you can only wash something so much, and I applaud if that's your thing. If you want to go thrifting, you. But that's not.
You know who's really good
Michelle
at
not do that.
You know who's really good at this is Holly. She always seems to find those little special deals. She goes and gets it dry cleaned and gets it all cleaned up, and it's like you can't even tell. But anyway, I'm not good at it. But Sydney Dove, a Democrat from California, and Nicole Malliotakis, a Republican from New York, are launching this new caucus aimed to promote. They call it the re-commerce economy. So meaning resale stuff. And they're going to do it by helping platforms like eBay, Etsy, and Depop. Never even heard of that.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Helping them grow their amount of resale stuff that they buy. Here's an interesting statistic. Right now, if no other clothes were ever made again, or not for generations, there's enough clothes currently on the planet to completely clothe every person that's born for the next 6 generations.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
It's all in Michelle's closet.
You're welcome.
But clothes that go into a landfill, they break down, they release a lot of chemicals, all the polyesters and things like that. So they're trying to cut down on that. One of the ways they want to do it is reducing sales tax on secondhand items. There shouldn't be any sales tax on secondhand items.
I agree
it shouldn't
with
even be
that.
reduced.
Yeah,
it should
I agree with that.
You should not pay tax on sales tax.
But
on
okay, so
secondhand
wait a minute.
items.
What if these clothes, like I've watched enough hoarders, okay?
Yeah.
And they have like a giveaway, a donate, and a throwaway pile. And so these clothes that have come from a hoarder's house have now gone into a black trash bag. And I donate to the thrift store. I do donate. But
you know what happens to like a lot of the clothing that goes to Goodwill? You think they are taking it out of that black trash bag and then washing it and sanitizing it and putting it on the
hang it
shelf?
up.
No, a lot of that stuff gets put on a pallet and shipped to third world countries. And,
I've seen that. Uh-huh.
And I think a lot of times there it still doesn't get used. It's actually getting kind of ridiculous. But a lot of retailers now are starting to offer, like REI has, there's certain like backpacks and things that, somebody uses them 2 or 3 times. REI has a resale. I don't know if they give you credit or whatever, but they will resale that stuff, like higher quality stuff, not cheapy stuff.
Would you wear somebody's used shoes?
No, I don't like that. Holly doesn't like that either. But
what is off limits for you that if it was pre-loved? Let's not say used.
Pre-loved,
Yeah.
ooh, yeah.
What
underwear.
garment? Okay.
Underwear. Underwear, number 1. Yeah, I think shoes would be second for me.
Bathing suit?
I would trunks, like swim trunks.
Somebody's junk was in that. Somebody's other junk was in the trunks.
I wouldn't wear a Speedo. I would not
junk.
wear a Speedo, but if I found a pair of real nice, like hang ten trunks or something and they looked brand new.
Pre-loved junk trunks.
Re-commerced junk trunks, Michelle. Yeah, I'm not real good about that, but I'm open to it. I saw some stuff on REI that it's like real good quality, like North Face jackets that they look brand new, but they're half of what a brand new one would cost.
I mean, maybe a jacket or something like that, but I don't know. Part of me is the hunt, like going out there.
Well, you
and
can still
finding
hunt in a resale store.
But there's a smell. There's a smell. I can't do it.
I do not like that smell at Goodwill.
You
That
know
is
what I'm
true.
talking about,
I
right?
know. It smells like grandma's house with
BO.
a cat that died.
A cat and some BO. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Goodwill. I'm sorry. Yeah, there just is a
Goodwill.
smell.
Goodwill's for profit. You need to go to the thrift store because that's where everybody in Dripping Springs should donate to the Senior Thrift Center.
Yeah, well, I agree.
100%.
Well, I hope they're reusing all that stuff in it, but there is some stuff out in that parking lot that doesn't get used.
No,
so
for sure.
It's going to be interesting to see.
You know, since we're going to have Joe V. Belterra on, we're going to have Marilyn on. I thought about just doing a little segment on the pros of living in a 55 and up community. One of the things is you're kind of living with like-minded neighbors. Everybody's kind of in the similar stage of life. There's often, I guess, we're going to ask her, like the built-in sense of community and shared interest. I think
in the right places there are.
Yeah, you would hope. The other thing is this low-maintenance living. Can you imagine not ever having to do your yard or anything else again?
I know, huh?
That would be nice.
And you have small apartments. You're living in 4,000 square foot houses that need to be cleaned and cooled and paying taxes and all that
and
stuff.
some places offer housekeeping. I don't know if Jovi has like a list of people that they do housekeeping for.
They probably do, but I don't know that.
And then the amenities, for sure. Of course, you know, Jovi has the pools and the fitness centers and
they have
like
a really
the craft
good fitness center.
Their amenity center is super nice. I really, really like it. And
they have pool. They have a poker room where people are playing all kinds of
books.
games.
They have like a little
books,
library.
They have puzzles. They have a library. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And then think about the quiet. You're not having the noisy kids run up and down or the teen parties. But and then there's the security, right?
Yeah.
The social activities, of course, back to that.
There's something going on there almost every day or night.
Hey, do you think it's kind of like there's like a little bit of a Peyton's place there? Do you think like when a new female moves in that the men are like, hey?
I think it goes both ways.
You think so?
I
probably more of the men.
I told you this story. I'll tell. I don't think did I tell it on the air? I'll tell it again. I was there and we were having dinner with my dad. And we had gotten dinner from, I don't know, Chipotle's or something. And we didn't have any drinks. And they were having a little get-together up front. And they had water there. And I was like, you know what? I'll go get us a couple waters from that party. And I went up there and I walked up to, they have a little bar thing there. And I grabbed a couple waters out of the cooler. And two women within like 30 seconds came up to me and said, hey, what's your name? And the first one oh, hi, I'm Steve, and nice to meet you. I don't remember her name. And then I turned around, and then this other woman goes, hi, I'm so-and-so. What's your name? And I was like, wow, something's weird going on. And I thought, oh, I just got targeted. He looks eligible. And then I was like flashing the ring around.
They were like fresh meat.
Yeah, fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
I do think that stuff probably does go on there. But you know what? It's cool though, right? It's like you're not giving up on life. You're still thinking about dating and what all that looks like.
Yeah. Well, one of the questions that I had is, can you have overnight visitors? Like if they're under, for how long? Like if your grandkids come to spend the night.
It's in the lease. So yeah, we'll have to ask Marilyn.
Okay, yeah.
I think you can have your grandkids stay for a day or two, but there was some talk about over there opening the pool up in the summer during the day to kids, but I think the residents were sort of like, you know, we want our peace and quiet. Maybe like, you know, an hour on Saturday you can have it.
Those kids ruin everything.
Yeah, but I'm excited to get Marilyn in here. She is one of the sweetest people you will ever meet, and she really does a fantastic job over there.
I'm excited to get Larry in here. That's even more exciting.
I'm a little nervous about that, but we'll see. So hang on, sit tight. We'll be back with Marilyn Bell and Larry Mallett, my dad.